Okay, you have to load now. Okay. Don't know why it keeps doing that. Can you reset yourself, please? There we go. Hi. Hello. Let me get my music going for you guys. There it goes. Okay. Hi, Steven. Eli, hello. Dragon's Kelt, hello. Hello, Olive Raiders on YouTube. I knew Blue was gonna say that. Is that what's coming? Yep, that's what's coming. I should have seen. Thank you, Chris. I've seen your comments and I appreciate them over there. Hi, Sparky. Welcome in, Monty Raiders. You guys are the best, worst community ever. Guys, as we come in on TikTok, let's get that, get those likes going. Hi, Monty Raiders. You're welcome, Richard. Yeah, I know Olive sent you. I'm aware where that came from. Hi, Yami. Olive's trying to blame whiskey. Tech Riven. Olive was trying to shout me out to somebody who called in. She's trying to promote me, and I love her for that. And she said, "Oh, Monty, I know Monty." So I'm Monty today. If you're over there on YouTube and haven't hit that thumbs up, please do for me as we come in, guys. We need to start getting those likes going. Let's go. It's Wednesday. A little bit scandalous. Come and let me up, my baby. A little dangerous, my Hey, Monty, knock knock, it's Monty Raid. Yay! Hi, Jeff. Good morning, good afternoon from your favorite Monty. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well. All right, let's get ourselves started today. Guys, if you are watching on TikTok, make sure we start tapping that screen. Thank you so much, Olive, for the money gun. Make sure you start tapping that screen. We like to get to 50,000 likes before the top of the hour, and I know you guys can do better because we hit over 250,000 before I ended yesterday, even though I went a little bit over, but you guys hit that 200,000 mark like way before it was noon my time. So thank you guys. I appreciate that so much. So let's get those taps going. Do your daily heart me if you have not done so. So that should be that little gold heart that's up there. Please make sure you are doing that. It does help with our fan club. I'm trying to figure out why I don't have access to the fancy little gift that all these creators have where they have their own specialized gift. I don't have it. Apparently they randomly gave it out and I was not one of the ones chosen. I'm a little salty about that. So make sure you're doing your daily heart me. It does give you access to stickers in the chat, a lot of fun ones of my face, and other little isms and things that I say. I would appreciate it if you guys did that. Share the live out, repost it. You have to repost it before I start playing content or else it doesn't work. It's not noon in the mountain time. Like, and you know this. Share it to 5 of your friends, add it to your story, help push us out onto that algorithm. I would appreciate it so very much. And we just completed the little roses goal. Thank you so much. I will set up a new little penny gift for that. And if you have an extra chunk of TikTok change and you would like to go into my profile, and I think I'm one of my C5 this week. I don't remember. C5 gift gallery that you can drop on one of those gifts. I know we're getting to the bigger ones, so I totally understand if you can't. But if you can, I would appreciate it. It does help us over here. If you're watching over on YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you have not already. I would appreciate it. You can only hit it once. I think you're allowed to tap little hearts. I'm not sure how that works over there, but for sure hit that thumbs up button for me. I would appreciate it. You can subscribe. You can become a member. Would love if you guys did that. If the chat is moving too fast for you and you would like me to read something, you desperately would like me to read something, you can send a super chat. That guarantees that I will read it. You can also send jewels and fun little things over there. If you're watching on Twitch, hello lovelies. Hi Surgeon, Yami, Dragon's Kelt, I see you. There's a few more of you over in there, but you have not chatted, so hello. You guys can follow. If you're not already, you can subscribe as well. Subscription gives you access to the emotes, which are the same stickers that we have over here on YouTube, ones of my face. I wish they gave me more access to more. I'm sure they will as my following increases, and then I can give you guys all of the ones that I have over there. If you pay for Prime, you get 1 free Prime sub a month. Why not use it on me? Let Jeff Bezos pay for your subscription to me. I'd appreciate it. And as you know, you guys can send bits and fun things over there. I have my 100 goal that I have every single day. Guys, this is my job. This is what I do for a living. And so if you can help with that, I would appreciate it. That's how we crowdfund here to pay for my labor. We do not take for granted women's labor in this space. So make sure that you are paying me because it is my job. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link tree in my bio. Let's start working on that. Dollar Train, $2 Train. Let's start getting that down. DJ Bookie, hello. And I put it in the Discord. I don't think you're in the Discord, but I did put in the Discord my order summary for the book. It doesn't give me a tracking time yet because I'm guessing since it just came out, you got to wait for like a new set of it to roll in, but I did order that yesterday. So guys, hello. We will get started today.
Hello.
Speaking of my goal, if you guys want to pay to get me a sweet treat or something, because a bitch had an IUD taken out, ripped out of her, and then a new one reinserted yesterday, and that was really fun. I had like labor pain cramps all day yesterday. That was really fun for me. And then I was finally able to sleep and it was fine. And I feel much better today. However, sitting in a chair like this, hunched and in this position, not great. So we have a heating pad.
Woo!
We have a heating pad down here. But you know, a girl needs sweet treats and compensation for being a woman. But I would choose it in every lifetime. So just have Mr. Monty get the snip. No, I would still need it, Sparky, because menstrual cycle symptoms. That's why I have birth control in the first place. It's not about the babies.
Did they give you like high ibuprofen afterwards?
No, so she just had me she said just go home and take 600 milligrams, which is what I did. They did give me like a lidocaine injection in there. Not
You've never had that before?
Mm-mm.
That's how I had it all 2 times when I got my IUDs. They for TMI, but not really TMI because women's health is always
women's health is important. Yeah.
Sometimes when people get IUDs, some places will numb your cervix with lidocaine. So I had that done both times, and I thought it was the weirdest experience ever.
I didn't feel
I
that.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Maybe I'm just a bitch. That could be my problem.
Yeah, I didn't feel that at all. The removal was fine because it was like a quick tinge of pain on like my right side, and that was done. And I was like, okay, cool. They like showed me it. I was like, thanks. Didn't need to see it. I know what it looks like. But putting the new one in, that is just like, oh, my left side is just not happy. But okay. I'm sure you guys loved that information, but I'm just saying, pay a bitch for her labor because the uterus is uterizing. That's not a word. Okay, let's get into some news. So yesterday we covered this. Yesterday, I gave applause to takes notes. I gave applause to the Republican Party for the fact that they are doing something bipartisanly and actually finally getting something done as a congressional unit. It had to be done bipartisanly, but they're actually getting something done for the American people. So I'm going to show you again what I showed you yesterday, which is the Senate passes a bill to lower housing costs and restrict Wall Street from buying homes. So this is to help the American people be able to purchase homes, which they have had a problem doing, and to keep giant conglomerates from buying up all of the homes. I think we would all agree that is a good thing that we would want to see. So I'm glad that bipartisanly, and remember we read down here, Senators Tim Scott, a Republican, Elizabeth Warren, a Democrat, Representatives French Hill, a Republican from Arkansas, and Maxine Waters, a Democrat from California, all came together to bipartisanly push forth this piece of legislation, and it passed. It's supposed to go to the president's desk today, except that the president is a little bitch. Today's housing news conference and signing is hereby canceled until such time as we pass the desperately needed Save America Act, which I consider to be a national emergency. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. So, he takes something that is beneficial for the American people as a whole and decides he's going to hold it hostage. Thank you, Peter.
Oh my God, I have crabs.
Peter always coming in to give me crabs. We do love that from him. Taking something that's beneficial for the American people and holding it hostage so that he can try and get the Save America Act passed, which once again, the Save America Act has been dead on arrival. So there's that. The, what he doesn't understand, which we understand because we've talked about 85-5 in the Senate was the vote. Thank you, Hubbub. What he doesn't understand that we understand because we've talked about this in regards to the Epstein Transparency Act is that unless he vetoes it, which he's not going to do. Aw, Chicky.
Oh my God, I have crabs.
Chicky also gave me crabs. Thank you. Unless he vetoes it, right? We understand that a president can veto it. That's not what he's saying he will do. Thank you, Kayla, after 10 legislative days, like 10 business days, it goes into law anyway. It was the same thing with the Epstein Transparency Act. You can choose not to sign it. He did sign that. But you can choose not to sign it. He didn't create a big ceremony for it. You can choose not to sign it. It doesn't matter. After 10 days, it is going to be into law. Yes, if he vetoes it, you just need 2/3 of the vote. But that would come off really, 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 really bad for the party if he vetoes something that is so bipartisan. But again, he's having an entire hissy fit because of the fact that the Save America Act is dead. Oh my gosh, Sparky. That the Save America Act is dead on arrival there. So that's where we're at with that. So let's talk about it because they're having a press conference about it right now. Oh, actually, I have one more truth because he berates it. This one came first, technically. This truth came first, and then the other one saying he's canceling the signing came after. I just wanted to show you that he's acting like a big, big baby. So, you know, that happens. W's to Peter. Not only is Peter giving me crabs, but Peter is giving us our favorite number. Thank you so much for the 1353. I'm glad I have them memorized now, by the way. So we can get 8647 right there on the screen. You know, we'll see what Todd Blanche does with that. Thank you, Peter. You know, that always happens. But just take wonderful note of that, because we also have to give W's to Steph for the $10. You said pocketing some mutes, LOL, for those who are getting IUDs. Don't forget, you can advocate to be knocked out as well. If a doc says no, find another. Lidocaine is the bare minimum. Feel better. Thank you. My doctor is amazing. She did say, like, if I have any issues with pain where it becomes a bad thing. Hello? Well, hello.
So I just it froze for a second.
Oh.
I don't know if it was me. I was trying to see, like, maybe it's my internet.
Shit. No, it's me. Why the fuck am I not on the line? His because he's, what do you call it, plugged in like the actual Ethernet network and internet Ethernet. Yeah, not connected. How do I connect it? I want it on. How do I do that? How to?
Because everything froze, and I'm like, did I break my?
Hold on.
Because in the middle of my stuff, everything froze. I'm like, what the hell?
It's connected to the Wi-Fi. No, I need it through the settings. Hold on.
Guys, keep tapping though. Keep doing all the good things. Actually, while we're doing this, you guys can pop over to Tube, and everyone in here, the 114 people, go give a like on the video. You don't have to sit and watch. I mean, you can if you have a second device, you should, because it counts for watch hours. But what you can do is hit that little like button, and then also you can hit that bell icon so you know when money goes.
I don't want to turn the Wi-Fi off because I'm scared. I need tech support. How do I connect back to my Ethernet? There's not like a little toggle for that. Shoot. Do I turn the Wi-Fi off? I don't want Wi-Fi. Manage known connections. That's no. That's not what I want. Press the connect button. There is no connect button. Oh God. Where's my
You want to try? You want to try to reset? Maybe. I mean, I don't.
Because usually if I have to do that, I have to restart the entire computer. I'm trying to figure out how to turn this back on. Drag it. It should prioritize. It's supposed to. He's checked his Ethernet and it's supposed to. Hold on, let me. Recommended settings, Ethernet. Yes. Wi-Fi.
You just came back though. Hello.
Well, because I turned my Wi-Fi back on.
Okay.
I don't know why the hell. Yes, I know. Thank you, OBS. I appreciate that.
I hate when they remind you of stupid shit like that. Like, why?
Window key. Technical difficulties. Control panel. Ethernet. Not disable. Well, maybe. Disable Ethernet for a second.
Blue, I blame Republican infrastructure. Yeah?
It's not. I'm in. Why? How is the. I don't know what that looks like. It says it's on. Oh, wait. Okay. I think I did it.
Did you do it?
I think so. Settings. Networks. Okay. We're fixed. Thank you.
Yay!
Oh my God. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you guys holding on for that mess. We all know I'm not good with that. But again, thank you to Steph. My doctor did advise. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, I have crabs.
My doctor did say that there's it's called family planning. That's what it's called. And you can go and they can knock you out to have the procedure done if you want to. But yeah, I didn't want to. All right. Back to politics, friends. my IT support was Google today. Thanks. Appreciate that. So this is Donald Trump. He was raging about the housing bill being passed. And this is before he decided he was going to cancel 94th. He was going to cancel the signing. So the Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren-centric housing bill, which, by the way, was proposed by a Republican, so I don't know what he's talking about, which is of minor importance compared to lower interest rates. In case you don't know, his pick for the Fed chair, Kevin Warsh, has already kept rates stagnant, and it is already being projected that they're going to have rate hikes. So we're not going to get lower rates, we're probably going to get higher rates. But to lower interest rates, and even FISA pales in comparison to passing the Save America Act. So apparently your ability to be able to afford housing pales in comparison to the Save America Act. That's interesting. We've gone over that a million times. That is what Americans, both Democrats, Republicans, and everyone else care about. Get the bad Republicans to approve it, or better yet, terminate the filibuster and approve it, and everything else Republicans have ever dreamed of. Republicans are not going to get rid of the filibuster. There's a very specific reason, because if and when they are eventually out of power in Congress, what that means is what they know is that if the Democrats get involved, D.C. becomes a state, Puerto Rico becomes a state, and they get electoral votes. And guess what? Their electoral votes most likely will not lean Republican. Increase the bench of SCOTUS. It will go from 9 to 13. They don't want any of this to happen, which is why Republicans know it's dangerous to get rid of the filibuster and will refuse to do so. The Democrats will do it in hour one. Not necessarily. Republicans will feel very stupid if they don't do it first. I'll be watching with tears in my eyes, President DJT. I didn't know he had a soul, with tears in his eyes. But again, taking something that's bipartisan, a bipartisan bill that they worked together across the aisle to get done, makes this president mad. That should frustrate you. Maybe. So, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you. What'd you say, Ari? He said, PR would likely lean Republican, to be honest. Their non-voting rep in the House is a Republican. Sure. But I guess it depends on if you're now allowing them to vote. It would depend on how that would. DC, definitely not, though. DC is not going that way. So they were doing a press conference this morning, kind of running, the Republicans trying to run a victory lap on the housing bill. So we're going to get into some of that. Even though, again, bipartisan, meaning they did it with the help of Democrats.
Estimate, maybe more, of the housing, of the final product is housing conservative.
Yeah, Michael, gas prices are going down back to where they were before he started this unnecessary war.
Priorities and policies. And the other things that are in there are not consequential. Not as consequential as all the great things that Chairman Hill outlined. I mean, we're addressing it's transformational legislation because we're addressing the affordability problem in housing that, as he said, has persisted since COVID. When interest rates are high and costs are high, it makes the barrier to entry so high that young families can't get into houses anymore. That's not a Republican or Democrat problem. It's an American problem. So
I agree. I actually agree with Mike Johnson here. The ability for Americans to get into homes is a bipartisan issue, which is why we like this bipartisan bill, being able to get everyday Americans into homes. Now, people who have contributed to the housing market being an issue, honestly, that can go on both sides if you look at certain things done within the Clinton administration into the Trump administration, things that hurt housing. But
Americans are fixing it. And so we're going to reduce regulation so builders can build. We're going to limit institutional investing in the housing.
They didn't take out Iran, and I hope we can get to our Iran section today, Solar. I've talked about it literally every day for the last how many months we've been doing this. We didn't take them out. They're actually getting a lot, and we're not getting anything.
Market. We're going to bring the American dream back within the grasp of hardworking American families. Critical to do. Great policy. The president, when we go through the details of the bill, he's going to understand that it's a good product, and certainly something that fulfills his promises to bring down the cost. Interest rates is another big priority of his and all of ours, and I think the new Fed chair will do that. We get the economy humming again.
Except that the new Fed chair just kept rates the same. And economists and CNBC are already projecting that the Fed will most likely raise interest rates. Like, what?
We keep the Strait of Hormuz open. We keep gas prices down to earth. This economy is going to take off like a rocket, y'all, because...
So, they're, again, running this victory lap. But in the middle of that, actually, no, I won't do that first. Let's do Scalise, because Scalise is trying to tout that Republicans delivered for the American people. So let's just listen to that, because they made themselves fools.
Continue to see this drumbeat of Republicans focusing on helping make life more affordable for working families on every front. Chairman Hill just talked about it with the housing bill, a really important bill to lower housing costs. We delivered for American families. We did it.
You know, you did. Bipartisanly, with Democrats, you delivered for the American people. And Donald Trump said, no, Which again, I will keep repeating, even if he doesn't sign it, as long as he doesn't veto it, 10 days from now, and it'll become law anyway, because that's how that works. So he can keep crying. But in the middle of that, Mike Johnson gets told that Trump, let's see, what is that? Is that the one? No, I just did that one. That Trump has canceled the ceremony for the signing. So now he has to pretzel to glaze his taint the way you guys all do. By the way, speaking of glazing taints, I guess, glaze mine. If you're on YouTube and TikTok, can you guys at some point during the stream or at some point today go to my profile and watch my latest video, watch it all the way through and like it for me? I would appreciate it. TikTok's weird about the times you post, and so it's not getting as much traction as I think it deserves. So as a real-time fact check from yesterday. So if you guys could do that at some point, I would appreciate it. But this is Mike Johnson being told, hey, Trump canceled the signing of this bipartisan bill to help the American people. And Mike Johnson says, I know, but I have to love him.
In the process of this press conference, President Trump announced he's
It's only coming in my right ear. I don't know why, but it is.
canceling the bill signing for the housing bill that you all were just talking about. He said he's canceling it until the SAVE Act is passed. All of this house is always passed with bipartisan support. Of minor importance, that it pales in comparison to the SAVE Act. What is your reaction?
Yeah, my reaction is, truth of the matter, I spoke to the president for 20 minutes before I went in and gave that rousing speech to the House Republicans this morning. He and I've talked about this a lot. He has expressed the priority and the preference of the Save America Act.
In the process of
Well, I know we just did this like victory lap because of like this bipartisan bill that we got together, but like he really wants to talk about the Save America Act. Mike Johnson doesn't know what to do with that. And now they're going to have to talk and have a meeting and say, sir, we need you to sign this because this was good. We like this. This was good. So that's going to be an interesting conversation, I'm sure, for him to have with the president. And here is Fox News, who is also dumbfounded by Donald Trump canceling the signing because it's a good bill. As far as we know, what's in it is a good bill to help provide grants for working American people to be able to afford homes and to keep huge conglomerates from being able to buy them. We don't want to see these corporations buying up all these single-family homes, buying up all these homes and keeping Americans out of it. We don't want to see that. So this bill is a good thing. I don't care that there's Republicans' names on it. I don't care that they introduced it. I'm glad that this is what we want to see. This is what we saw in Biden's administration, is Republicans and Democrats came together for a bill for the American people. I can finally say Republicans are doing something beneficial for the American people. I haven't been able to say that for about a year and a half. And yet here is Donald Trump canceling the signing of it to be a big, big baby because it helps the people.
This housing bill, it was bipartisan, and it was seen as a way that it was going to help out potentially young home buyers who can't afford it right now. Do you think there's any political risk here in canceling this ceremony just at the behest of the Save America Act? This is something everybody wanted.
Even Fox News is like, this is bad. Love that for him for the midterms. He is his own worst enemy just because of who he is. Just because of who he is. Again, I don't like talking about Trump. I was talking about Congress doing something good. We talked about it yesterday, that they did something good. And yet here is Trump going against it. For what purpose? Why? So then they asked Elizabeth Warren, who was one of the ones who helped in the Senate with Rick Scott, to get this proposed. And she has a good answer, which is like, why are you trying to let me in his head? Because I can't tell you what goes on in that man's head.
Senator, I'm curious why you think then that the president canceled the signing at the 11th hour. And I ask that because the House voted on Tuesday 358 to 32. So it was largely bipartisan here. I'm just curious what you think actually changed.
Look, I'm sorry. If you're asking me to get into Donald Trump's head and figure out what's going on there, you need somebody else. I don't have any idea. This just doesn't make any sense other than whatever it is he wants to do. It's a complete indifference to the cost squeeze on American families and to genuine efforts to do something about it.
because we've seen that. I've talked about it when we get into like the economy sections. When I have them, we talked about the fact that mortgage defaults have gone up. A lot more people are defaulting on their mortgages right now because times are hard. A lot more people, the consumer confidence is way down. It's at like 43%. People are not confident that they're going to be able to buy a home within the next 10 years. It is getting harder and harder to do so. They do not think that the market is here for them, except that now we have a bill to make it easier on Americans, and Donald Trump is canceling the signing because of the Save America Act. Devil Dog, stop. He said, hold firm, President Trump, until they pass the Save America Act. The Save America Act is not getting passed. It's not popular with the people, so even Republicans are not voting on it. That's why I said it's dead on arrival. It's not because of Democrats. It's because of Republicans, too. They have been answering for it in their town halls. People are not with that. And guess what? They don't want to be primaried and lose their seats.
You know, he could be over here trying to claim a victory lap, and instead he's saying, no, he doesn't want anything to do with it. It's because he really doesn't care about American families.
Yeah, exactly. John Thune said he's not going to even bring it to the floor. So,
and doesn't care about the fact that prices are up and the promises he made to lower costs on day one have not only come to nothing, prices are higher on groceries, prices.
Then we sit and wait. Devil Dog, I just explained this to you. We do sit and wait. We wait for 10 days for Donald Trump to either get his shit together and stop crying and sign it, or it becomes law anyway. Did you know that?
Are higher on health care. Prices are higher on virtually everything that Americans buy because of Donald Trump's policies.
He signs it in the Oval Office, KYO. That's a weird pivot. He signs these things in the Oval Office. All right. On to some other news that we have. Oh, actually, I meant to do a funny. Hold on. Give me a second. While we're sitting here, guys, make sure we are still tapping. You're doing wonderful over here on TikTok. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, guys. Trying to see if I can. Okay, so this happened yesterday. Okay. Senate passes war powers resolution and breaks with Trump over Iran war. In a striking turnaround from past efforts, the U.S. Senate for the first time approved a war powers resolution Tuesday seeking to block U.S. military action against Iran. The resolution is largely symbolic and does not fully carry the force of the law, yet it reflects growing concerns from a number of Republican lawmakers in both the House and Senate over both the war and deal President Donald Trump struck with Iran to end it. The House approved the resolution earlier this month. It has been stalled in the Senate. Why? Because the Republicans have been too scared to jump on board and restrict his powers. And to me, all that means for the fact that they're doing it now is it's just too little too late. Because the deal is in place, right? We have an MOU to get to a deal. So that's why it's symbolic, because it doesn't fucking mean anything for them to do this now. It just doesn't. It's theater. It is political theater. But even so, even though it's political theater, it still made Trump mad, because why? He can't help himself but be mad about things. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Hey, buddy, it's Cap. What are you doing?
Hi, Cap. How are you?
I'm okay. Okay, so listen. Okay.
Sure.
So for me, I'd like to know the intels of the Save America Act, and why is it the key components that are keeping it from not passing? And is it that pivotal that in order to make that pass, is it having people that have IDs able to vote, the key component?
Well, that's the problem with it. That's one of the biggest problems with this. If you read it, a regular ID, and even in some circumstances, a real ID, is not counted as enough for you to be able to vote in your state.
Okay, so basically, as of right now, it sounds like you're saying, yeah, that's pretty much what's hindering from it passing all the way through on both sides of the table, right?
Yes, there's also the fact that a lot of the stuff in the Save America Act would end up purging voters, so you would get kicked off of your registration and have to re-register. And the Save America Act requires you to re-register in person. So you would have to go to your local county election office. And for rural communities in like red states, but even rural communities here, like in Colorado, sometimes it's like an hour away. And on top of that, having to have proper documentation, if you have to pay for that documentation, that is a poll tax. So a lot of people are just not with that in regards to their Republican representatives voting for it.
Okay, so basically, this bill, it's what's going to make or break everything that's going to happen coming up in the midterms. So
I wouldn't say that. I would say that it's not going anywhere. There's a reason why it's passed in the House, but that they will not bring it on the floor of the Senate.
So there's nothing that can be amended in the bill to see if they can, like, try to meet both ways in order for this thing to pass?
Oh, no, they totally can. No, they totally can. They can amend it. They can rewrite it. They can try to come together with something. Because even there's a lot of, and I'm in that camp. I have no problem with a quote unquote voter ID as long as the documents you need specifically to vote are given to you for free, so it doesn't violate the poll tax amendment in the Constitution. I'm totally fine with that. So they could amend it. They could rewrite it. The problem is that Trump and Republicans are saying, no, we're not going to do that.
Okay. So basically that right there, and the oil prices going down right now doesn't really affect anything until maybe, let's say by Christmas, you'll start seeing the effect. If that starts to work, maybe, yeah. Like you said before earlier, we have to wait for the 60 days to pass. That I agree with you on. Like we're still at a standstill.
Yeah.
Just because the MOU's there doesn't mean that, it's going to be binded. But I mean, if it does go through to the point where we get $2 a gallon in gas by Christmas, and everything starts coming through as far as like a good quota point on the quarterly side. I mean, what's gonna stop the Republicans from taking both sides of the House? I mean, like, is there? I mean, because look, I'm down with the blue wave. I really am, but I'm not getting anything back with the blue wave in return. Like, I'm not getting any. No policies, no names, but that's either here or there. But
well, it depends on your candidate. It depends on your candidate. I would say right now we have to stem the bleeding of what Trump is doing, and I think that that's going to be Congress's job. And I said that yesterday. I'm sure you heard. I don't want them to spend their time like going after him personally with impeachments. I don't want to see them do that. I think that's a waste of everybody's time. I would rather them come in and push forth legislation that's beneficial for the American people and stop legislation he's done that's harmful.
Yeah, because I mean, as of right now, we're seeing everything go through now, but it's going to take a while. But isn't this going to strengthen? Like, if the oil prices start going past 70, like to 65, I mean, isn't this going to strengthen the Republican side? And knowing, I mean, I talked about this earlier on Olive's show, but you were saying that the Democrats didn't push back on the signing on this bill. But I mean, if they're funding DHS and funding ICE.
So
at the same time,
I don't think you got a chance to hear that. So what you're talking about is when we had a half a shutdown for DHS, the Democrats refused to fund ICE and CBP until Republicans came to the table with stipulations to ensure that ICE was following the law. That's what Democrats wanted. They said, we need stipulations to ensure they're following the law, and then we will fund it, no problem. Republicans refused to do that. So what ended up happening is that Democrats proposed a side bill, because DHS encompasses a lot, right? There's FEMA, there's TSA for airports, and there is CISA, and even what's it called?
Yeah, I think TSA is what put it over the
Coast
top
Guard.
For me, but that's just me.
Sure, but
when the TSA issue started becoming a very big issue,
totally.
I think that's when they pressed they pressed and they got what they wanted.
No,
But if
but
the
here's the thing.
Republicans are
They had to
pushing
do
it-
it on their own. That's what I'm telling you, is that the Democrats proposed a bill to only fund FEMA, TSA, CISA, and the Coast Guard. And Republicans joined with them, getting over the 60 vote threshold, and voted that in place. ICE and CBP were still not funded. And so then what the Republicans did is they put the ICE and CBP funding in a reconciliation package. When you do a reconciliation package, you do not need the 60 vote threshold. You can just do simple majority. And so Republicans passed that without Democrats. So Democrats didn't necessarily hop on board with that. They passed that on their own.
Okay, so then, that just harbors my point. Was just saying that if they're getting everything they want as far as the Republican side of everything so far, even though it's been some pushback, I mean, isn't that just strengthening them going into the midterms? Like,
no, because they're not. They're actually not. We see that in the approval. Even though they funded ICE for $70 billion, that is not popular with the people. We can see the approval rating on immigration
so if
is still not
inflation goes
great.
down, if inflation goes down, doesn't that bypass everything else?
Not necessarily, but inflation is up because of what Donald Trump did. Like, even you talking about the gas prices going down, great. The problem with that is that they were down before Donald Trump did this. Donald Trump put a strain on the American people that did not need to happen. That's a problem. And even inflation, let's say inflation goes down. Inflation is just talking about the rate at which goods increase. So we're at 4.2% inflation right now. Let's say it goes down to 3% inflation. That just means that the cost of goods are still going up at a 3% rate. So cost of goods are still going up.
Yeah, but I think farmers getting the help that they're going to get pretty soon, and then the trucking market helping the farmers.
Help?
That's all.
What help are farmers getting?
No, I mean, as far as like all the heavy big rigs that they need, that just passed too. Because I mean, if GM's getting involved in this, as far as like heavy rigs and weaponry too.
Weaponry is not going to help the farmers. I know you're kind of all over the place, Cap. Like, weaponry is not going to help the farmers. And actually, what we've seen,
they're getting involved in industrial-based parts that are made home.
Sure,
so if they're doing that for the farmers, and so the farmers don't have to use like.
No, they're not. Because they order their parts for their equipment, and their equipment, they order those overseas. And what we saw is that Bessent just recently, I covered this. Hold on. Bessent just covered this. I covered this recently. Scott Bessent, the Secretary of the Treasury, came out and said that they are removing the tariffs from farm equipment so that the farmers can import stuff cheaper. So they know that the tariffs they put on farmers were hurting them, and they have now had to backtrack on that.
So if they backtracked on it, that means that the farmers are going to get help, correct?
That's them causing a fire and then putting out the fire they caused, though. I'm not going to give them an applause for that.
Sometimes you have to make a smoke in order to take out a fire. I mean, if you don't know the smoke is there.
They started this. No, Donald Trump started this by doing tariffs across the board with his Liberation Day tariffs. By having tariffs on every single thing, he caused this hardship. And now they came out and said, oh, shit, we fucked up and we need to fix it. That is them starting a problem and fixing a problem they started. I just don't give them accolades for that. I'm glad they recognized that they needed to fix it, but I could have told them that before they did it in April. And they're still going to have issues with fertilizer because of the Strait. Even though the Strait of Hormuz is open, it is going to take months before fertilizer is up to the capacity it needs to be to come back into the United States for farmers.
So then nothing that they've enriched in Texas from the Venezuelan oil is not going to help now?
Can you show me where we've gotten Venezuelan oil that's helped in Texas?
I mean, from what I've heard, that's what they're doing, the enrichment.
They're saying we're going to be importing Venezuelan oil. That's what they're saying. But most of what we hear when they talk about economy is that we are a net exporter, which is true, but that doesn't help the American people in their prices, the fact that we export oil.
No, I would think that would help the reserve, not be important, importing more than exported. Like, that would help us.
Sure, but we're not seeing that. Actually, I have later in this segment, I have a truth from Donald Trump where he's complaining about the fact that he thinks that oil companies are still gouging the people, even though the cost should be going down now that the Strait is open.
Well, I mean, that's another thing. Then he's setting a smoke to he doesn't want a fire to start, but he's setting up a smoke for it to be taken out early. That's another sign right there. That
do you understand? Do you understand that he's finally getting on board to something that is a progressive idea? Did you know that during Biden's administration, because of the issue with oil that we were having after the pandemic, that Democrats proposed a oil price gouging bill so that the oil companies could not continue to gouge the price of oil to the American people, and Republicans shot it down.
Yeah, no, that's interesting to know that.
Right. So
But
Trump
yeah,
is
no,
Trump
I
is
mean,
finally getting on board with us.
I mean, that's a good thing. And that's, I mean, you got 2.5
Sure.
years that you guys got to
Sure,
get
but
along.
I don't. But
mean,
sure, but he railed against those policies when it was Biden. Now it's fine because it's him. That's where I have a problem. It's all about his ego and his narcissism, not about what it does for the American people. He is blocking us signing on a bill that helps the American people. Why? Because of his own ego.
well, I mean, that remains to be seen. We got 2.5 more years. I get what you're saying. I mean, if we're going to stop the bleeding, it has to start now. But I mean, as far as all these bills that are passing and everything that's going to happen in the midterms, I mean, let's see what happens. But it should be interesting.
It
But
will
yeah,
be.
thank you, man. Thank you for having me on the show. Appreciate
Of course,
you.
Cap.
Keep doing up the
Appreciate
good
you. Have a
stuff.
great day.
Bye.
All right. Yes, he is a real person. He is in my YouTube chat often. To be fair, he's relatively reasonable. He just, yeah, you know, the things. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Hey, I'm Zach. I'm out of Delaware, and I voted for Donald Trump.
Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump?
Well, I've supported him. Granted, I'm 27, well, basically 27. I've followed him ever since I was in high school.
Okay.
I couldn't vote for him when I was in high school. I voted for him this last general election. Does he speak the way I want him to speak all the time? Absolutely not. Can I find him childish some days with how he talks to people and his dialect? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, he aligned more with my values than any other candidate that was a front runner.
Cool. That's why you
My
voted for
biggest
him. Why do you
concern-
support him
that-
now?
I'm getting to that right now. The main reason I voted for him.
No.
and I
I'm
know it's
gonna
probably the most-
stop you. I don't care why you voted for him. I care why you're supporting him now. He won. Congrats.
Yeah.
Why do you support him now?
I voted for the man, and I trust in his actions. And the one
trust him.
thing is that I still support him with is what he is doing, one, with the immigration problem. Even though I know that's been one of the most controversial and both sides have gotten heated on it, and it's a shame. But my biggest concern, and still is one of my biggest concerns, is people that are in this country that shouldn't be in this country in the beginning.
Based on what?
And based on what?
Based on what should they
No,
not be
this-
here?
If they're not citizens of this country and you didn't come in through the right way,
What's the right way?
and you didn't, I'll tell you the right way.
Mhm.
And and when I give you this story, am I not going to be cut off?
Is it anecdotal or is it the law?
No, I'm going to tell you the right way.
No,
The
I would
right
like
way-
the law. Do you know the law for immigration in this country? Do you know?
Do I know every single policy? Absolutely not.
Well, then how do you know that they're
Absolutely not.
coming in
But
the right way or not?
I will. Well, when you come over the border
Mhm.
and you jump a fence
Mhm.
and you come in here
Mhm.
and you've passed through 4 other nations that you could have sought asylum,
Oh,
and you
no.
pass through all
Okay,
of those.
cool, great.
and
One of
you
my
come
favorite
here.
subjects. Awesome. One of my favorite subjects. Show me in the law where it is required.
Can
No,
I talk?
no, because you're already wrong. Show me in the law where it is
What do you mean I'm
required for
wrong?
you. Show me in the law where it is required for you to seek asylum in a third country. Read our asylum law.
Read our asylum law. I don't have the law in front of me, ma'am.
I know, because it doesn't say that. Our asylum law does not say that.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I will, let me,
But can I
it
at
always,
least- can
I
I
don't want
at
your,
least
no,
say
because you're
what I
already
think?
wrong. Asylum
What do you mean I'm
seekers,
already wrong?
because it is not required of them to apply for asylum in another country. So,
Well, when do they apply for asylum? Okay, let's say you're right. Let's say you're right. And
I am
agree
right.
With you. Say
No,
that's the
I'm not
law.
gonna say I'm
that's
right,
the
I am.
law, And I agree with you. That's the law. I 100% wholeheartedly agree. Okay, well then why is it when they seek asylum and they come here and then they go for their asylum here, they don't even show up for their asylum?
show
here?
me proof that they don't
So
show up.
let's-
Show me proof that they don't show up.
Show you what the?
Yes, show me statistics that they don't show up, because what we have from the American Immigration Council is that 80% of immigrants show up to their court hearings without a lawyer, over 90% when they do have representation. So show me evidence to the contrary.
Then why is it that we have so many illegal immigrants that aren't in our system in this country? That's what I'm curious
How would we
about.
track, if they're not in our system, how would we track them?
That's a good question.
Okay. So
That's a good
that's
question.
not how that works. Asylum seekers actually, as soon as they claim asylum, they get what is called TPS status. So they have a legal status while they await their court hearing. So they would not be illegal.
Okay.
Okay. So
now,
then,
when you
who are we
talk
talking
about the right way,
Yeah.
and this is what I'm going to get at. What I do not agree with, and we're just going to dumb this down to layman's terms because I don't know every single policy, every single
We're dumbing it
ruling,
down
but I'm
for
just going to
him.
give you my opinion on the immigration system here.
Here's
and
the
maybe
thing.
you can
Before you
better
do that,
explain it.
does your opinion require the law to be changed?
Well, how about this? Because you seem very knowledgeable, and I respect that.
Sure.
Can I give you my opinion, and then you can talk about it and explain to me, okay, you may be right on this, or you may be wrong on that, and just have a
I don't
conversation
talk
it.
about opinions. If you disagree with how we run asylum, that's totally fine. You can have that opinion. I'm not saying you can't have that opinion. What I am saying is that Congress is not doing anything to change the asylum law. They have not proposed anything to change the asylum law, so it doesn't mean anything to me. What does mean something to me is the fact that they are violating due process for people claiming asylum and trying to deny their asylum claims outright without going through due process, and that is violating the law, and that's where I have a problem. If they change the law, even if I dislike the law, that's the law.
No, I agree with you on that.
Okay.
No, I appreciate you explaining and talking.
And
to
there
me
are
like
multiple.
that.
The reason I say when we talk about right way is there are multiple right ways. Asylum is one right way. You have the K-1 visa where people get married and bring over their spouse from another country, right? We all know TLC has the famous show about it. That is also a right way. We might not agree with it, but it is a right way. You have H-1B visas for specialty workers that come in over here, a majority of them from places like India. Like, those are all right ways. There are multiple right ways, multiple lines.
I'm with you. Now, in regards to the immigration,
You guys, if you're watching on
and I'll
YouTube, hit
say
that thumbs
this,
up button if you
I
haven't already.
love
Guys,
that
continue to
people wanna
tap
come
over here.
here.
I appreciate you.
I love that people look at this country as an opportunity to better themselves and to better their lives and their families.
Sure.
My biggest concern with it is, especially from what I could see from my eyes, and granted, like I said, I'm not articulate. I'm not the smartest person in the world. I work in the trades. I'm not knowledgeable over every policy in the world. You seem very knowledgeable yourself, and I respect that about you. But my biggest thing is when we have people come into this country at such mass numbers, especially under the Biden administration, and I know the Trump administration, you have some too.
How many came under Joe Biden?
How many? Well, you probably know exactly how many came in under.
Per DHS, we have an estimation of around 2 to 5 million total.
That's a lot.
It's
now,
really
how
not
many
that much.
of those? Now, my question is, when you have so many people coming over, and let's be fair, they're probably not all going through the system. Now, I know that for a fact because my uncle, granted, my whole family's in the trades. They all are in construction. About 15 to about 20 years ago, they had to really switch over to undocumented workers. And that was mainly because of the problem of he was getting outbid on so many different contracts.
Were they working under the table, or were they working with an ITIN?
Oh, no, it was under the table. Granted, 20 years ago, it was the Wild West.
Okay. Well, that's illegal. But I would want the corporation I would want the corporation or the contractor to be cited for that, because that's a problem.
Oh, absolutely.
That's exploitation of labor, and I don't agree with that.
Back then, that's how it was. It's not like that now.
No, it still is like that, but we don't get those people in trouble for that. We just get the immigrant who wants to work in trouble for that, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't fine the companies themselves, because it would actually help probably regulate the whole market itself. I don't understand
they
don't
do.
that.
They're supposed to. They are supposed to fine them. What I would say is a lot of the times when you're fining these corporations that make millions and billions of dollars, the fine is like a drop in the bucket for them. It needs to be higher, and I think they need to have other restrictions put on them as well if they get caught doing it once, twice, however. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But, and not to get sidetracked here, but the whole thing is, my whole concern about it is I just want people to come into this country, go through the process,
sure,
get assigned a number, get assigned at least the beginning processes of being able to get your citizenship.
Yeah, but they do.
I don't want.
That's what happens.
But
already.
then why is it now that we have so many people that are in this country that are on government assistance programs?
No. So now,
And-
again, I will ask you to prove that to me, because undocumented immigrants do not get federal welfare benefits. They can't.
I've heard this argument before, and I'm curious. I know you say federal,
Hmm.
but what about state, for example?
Sure.
State benefits.
Some
state
of them can.
healthcare.
Some of them can get state benefits, but that is the 10th Amendment and states' rights. And a lot of the times, the people either vote for that on the ballot or they vote for representatives in their state legislature who vote for that. So that is just the 10th Amendment, that's states' rights, but they do not receive federal welfare. They can't. It's illegal.
Gotcha. And again, I'm not, like I said, you were very knowledgeable, and that's very impressive, especially you can pull up stuff, all that. That's actually pretty cool. But my problem is I don't want people to be on any government assistance when they come into this country. And let me say this.
Sure.
There's a family friend. He was sponsored by my grandfather to come in to America. He's from Scotland. About, God, it must have been 30 years ago. My grandfather had to sponsor him. It was $20,000 to bring him over from Scotland to come over to this country. It was put into a fund. The fund was to be held there in case he ever fell on hard times, or he had a sickness, or he was out of work, or whatever. He had that money to pull from, so he wasn't a strain on the system. And when you ask me what's the right way,
Was he working during
I
that
would-
time?
yes, he was. Yeah,
Okay,
he
so
was.
then
had
he
to
was
get
paying
sponsored
into,
in
so he's
order-
paying into a system that he then uses.
No, it had to be paid in up front in the beginning.
No.
before
I
he
mean
could
the
even come
person
over.
who came over from Scotland, when he came over, was he working?
Yes,
Okay,
he was
so then
working. He had a job.
So then if he gets some sort of benefit, it is because he paid into that system to benefit.
What do you mean the system to benefit?
Like if he
I'm
got
sorry,
some
I'm
sort
just
of, if he got some sort of state, I understand what you're saying about the funds being in there, but if he's getting some sort of state welfare or anything in that way, he paid into those
He
taxes
got
to do so.
no state. He wasn't at that time.
Okay.
He wasn't eligible for anything. He wasn't eligible for anything.
Yeah, it takes time
government
for
or
you
state.
to be able to adjust your
It-
status to get a work visa and all those things.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where when you ask me what's the right way, in my mind, it is a privilege to be able to live in this country and work in this country. I love everybody. I don't have a problem with color, religion, creed. All I care about is people coming into this country who love it and want to better themselves, their family, and the country. And from what it seems, and granted, I've seen it in my area. I know some people have different areas and regions are a little different. In my area, there's a lot of Haitians, which, hey, cool, whatever. It is what it is. I'm happy you guys coming here. But the problem is, and when you have people that come into this country, some of their ideals don't exactly line up as good in Western society. We have a community around here. Now, let me say this. I'm not talking bad about any specific, I'm
You
just
sound like
saying.
you're talking about assimilation in American culture, and that's just
Well,
not
I
something.
would say we're a melting pot, but we're only a melting
No.
pot if we melt.
No.
If we melt.
No.
Now, if
No.
you let me finish here, and you'll get what I'm getting at. And
No,
you'll
we're
just be
not a
little
melting
bit
pot.
calmer.
No, we are a
Well, let me.
no.
What do you
We are
mean?
a conjunction
you guys
of
talk
different
about
people.
we're a melting pot all the time. I'm just trying.
I don't
to
talk.
make
I don't say
sense of
that.
this.
I damn sure don't say that we're a
Can
melting
I-
pot, because we are a grouping of different ideas.
Ma'am, I just want to finish this one part. And
Yeah, well then
please
maybe we should
talk
stop. We
and-
should stop dyeing the river in Chicago for St. Patrick's Day. If we're a melting pot, we should probably stop doing that, because that's not our thing. That's Ireland's thing. So we should stop doing that.
What's wrong with anything culture? Like, I'm
It's
confused.
not.
What's wrong with?
There's not. But I mean, if we're a melting pot, we all need to assimilate to the same kind of culture. That's an Irish thing. That's not an American thing. So we should probably stop doing that.
I'm sorry. I know you're getting at something. I'm a
Sure.
little bit.
Go ahead. Keep explaining about
it
the
takes
Haitians.
me a minute.
The point.
No. So there's this. It's more of like a bunch of townhome areas by me. And granted, I've been here all my life in this whole in this county, and that whole area has been definitely kind of attracted the Haitian community. Now, in that area,
Guys, make sure we're working on the
itself,
goal here too. I have an hour left and we're at
it has
76. We should
turned.
be
It used
dollar
to be
trading that a
DuPont.
lot
DuPont
lower.
used
Remember, it
to
is
own that
$10
area.
for
They
a
had a
kick.
nylon
Thinking
plant.
about increasing
that got shut down
but
years and
for
years
now
ago.
it's $10. So take advantage of it while you
They had
can.
a
And
paint
keep
pigment
tapping the
plant that
screen. We
got
should be
shut
well
down
on our
years
way to
and years ago.
100,000 by now.
But so the area was actually a very nice area. But anymore now, anytime I go around there, there's trash everywhere, garbage everywhere. When you go into any of, like, we got rural farms, these gas stations, and like I'll go down to the racetrack on Sundays, and I'll stop there and I'll get my gas, and then I'll get something to snack on my way back from it, and it's just littered with garbage, that whole area. And I'm not saying it's all just because of the Haitians, but
Right. I would
there's
say that's
a
something to
different
do with the
culture
city and
and a
cleaning
different
up.
mindset.
That wouldn't have to do with the Haitians. That would have to do with the city and their ability to
Well, then
clean up.
why is my town not why is it not a shithole? You know what I mean? Like, why is my area not covered in garbage and trash? They use the
But
same
even then,
services.
again,
They
this is
have- they
anecdotal
have a
that you can't
township.
prove.
They
This
get
is
tax
anecdotal,
funds.
but again, this is
No,
anecdotal
I'm
that
saying
you
what I
can't.
see with my eyes.
Yeah,
I'm
and
just
and I
saying.
and so then let me go find somebody else who lives in Delaware who says the opposite of what you're saying. Now what do we do?
Says the opposite. Well, that's fine. They can say whatever they want, but all
Exactly.
I'm saying
No,
is when you have people that come with a different mindset
So
and a
then
different
you can say
ideology,
whatever you
sometimes it
want,
doesn't
Zach.
correlate.
That's the point, Zach, is then you can say whatever you want. They can say whatever they want. I have nothing, I have no actual factual information to be able to prove that. So if you can bring to me articles talking about the fact that when the Haitians came in a wide margin population, that all of a sudden it started going to shit. I would like to see an article about that from somewhere in Delaware. I would like to see statistics on that. Then yeah, then maybe we could talk about it. You can call another day. I appreciate you being civil. Capitalism did get you today, but please call in with some actual factual information, not your anecdotal evidence. Jesus Christ. W to Olive for the $10 with the honey boo boo gif of bye. Because yes, I am knowledgeable because I read. I don't talk about, very rarely do I talk about my anecdotal evidence. Very, very rarely, because it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
Also, I want everyone to understand, just like everyone shares, like TikTok people, we will share callers. So callers who probably called me in the morning are likely to call Monty in the morning, and so on and so forth.
They end up in the same place.
We all share.
It's pretty normal.
Yeah.
All right. Just again, I'm going to read this and I'll have it in my outline, even though it's not a part of my outline, just so that we know. Any alien who is physically present in the United States or who arrives in the United States, whether or not at a designated port of arrival, and including an alien who is brought to the United States after having been interdicted in international or United States waters, irrespective of such alien's status, may apply for asylum in accordance with this section. There are multiple ways to come here. There are multiple correct ways. And so you pivoted from correct ways because you don't know them to assimilation. So that's all you guys can do. All right. So, again, we were talking about the fact that the Senate, too little too late, passed the War Powers Resolution. But even though it's only symbolic because we're supposed to be in this situation where we are doing a deal within 60 days, I would agree with you. We absolutely need immigration reform. We need immigration funding. We need more judges. We need it to go a lot more efficiently is what we need. Amada, thank you for sending all of that, Coral. I appreciate it. But Donald Trump is railing against the War Powers vote. So I have Iran on the ropes, ready to go down for the fall, willing to give us practically anything, and for the first time in decades, respecting the hell out of the United States and its president, me. And the U.S. Senate decides to have a poorly timed, meaningless War Powers Act vote, telling the number one sponsor of terror in the world that the United States doesn't like what I am doing to them, and I must stop. And by so doing, has provided aid and comfort the enemy. 4 Republican losers voted with the Democrats, and Iran asked my people, what does that all mean? These senators have just made my job more difficult, but I will get it done one way or the other because I always get it done, according to him. So He's mad about the vote. Now, he's saying that he doesn't like it because it makes it seem like the United States doesn't like what he is doing. So let's talk about that, because we have some polling on that from our good boy Red Bull Golden Retriever, Harry Enton, on that polling of his approval with Iran.
Disapprove of Trump on Iran. In April, it was 64%. Now, in May, it was 66%. And now it is 64%. And the 75% of independents disapprove of Trump on Iran. The bottom line is...
Ooh! That's not nice. This is a CBS News and a YouGov poll, including 75% of independents.
This. No matter what deal has been made, the clear majority, 2/3 of Americans still disapprove of the job that Donald Trump is doing when it comes to that conflict.
Let me ask.
Disapprove.
So I guess it is true. Maybe they're trying to save their job and not just appeal to Trump on this by saying, yeah, we voted for it. But again, even so, political theater, because they voted for it after the fact. So there's always that. All right, we have a few things on Iran. Thank you, Mia, for sending this to me so I could find all these wonderful clips. It really was so enjoyable for me to have to listen to him talk like this. He went to a rally in Pennsylvania. Remember, he's doing his whole economic tour to try to convince the American people that he's doing anything beneficial for them when we're not seeing that. And the one thing he is doing beneficial, he's canceling the signing of today. Love that. Okay. So he's talking about Obama because he can't help but talk about Obama. So, Obama. Here we are. We're going to talk about Obama and Obama's deal with Iran.
Remember this.
Oh, hold on. You can't see him. Well, maybe that's a good thing.
Remember this. We had to make this detour. We had to go to Iran. You can't let them blow up the Middle East and then us, if that's possible.
Again, where's this intelligence evidence that they were anywhere near a nuclear weapon and were going to blow anybody up?
We would have gotten them before, but they would have blown up Israel. They would have blown up the entire Middle East. You can't let that. You want to see a bad economy? That's a bad economy. So, but remember that our oil in the middle of this conflict was less than it was for sleepy Joe Biden. And we're putting out a fire.
We're putting out a fire that we started. Just to remind you, the fire that we started by going over and then bombing them with Israel, we're putting out that fire now. Thank us. You love us.
Clinton, Bush, all of them. Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? Have you heard of Barack Hussein Obama? None of them did.
I'm convinced that they put up the little cue cards like in Shrek.
I believe that. That sounds accurate.
Oh, is it? Aww.
Did anything. Obama gave them 1.7 billion in green cash. Remember?
Not true. It was in francs. It was in European money, but sure.
Remember, at a 747, they flew over piles of cash. $1.7 billion. Gave them hundreds of billions of dollars.
No.
And thought they could bribe them into peace. No.
That was my favorite one. Thought they could bribe them into peace. Did it work? For 3 years? Did it work for 3 years? Because it seemed to work. He bribed them. He bribed them into peace.
Sleepy Joe Biden. And we're putting out a fire.
Oh, here, hold on.
None of them did anything. Obama gave them 1.7 billion in green cash. Remember, at a 747, they flew over piles of cash. $1.7 billion. Gave them hundreds of billions of dollars. And thought they could bribe them into peace. No, the only thing they understand is what these guys in the front row understand is the hammer.
Oh, really? What are we doing right now? Are we talking about unfreezing assets for them? For peace? Are we talking about raising $300 billion with the Gulf nations to pay for their reconstruction of what we did to them for peace? Oh, I think you're also bribing them for peace. So apparently they don't understand the hammer because we're talking at a diplomatic table. They didn't unconditionally surrender, which is what Donald Trump said he wanted. He wanted unconditional surrender. He didn't get that. If anybody surrendered, it was us. Because again, we are removing oil sanctions, we are unfreezing assets, and we are going to help raise $300 billion for them. We also have not gotten any restrictions on their enrichment. Who surrendered?
because if you look at what we did to their nuclear capacity with those beautiful B-2 bombers, that was truly a hammer. In fact, we named it a hammer, Operation Hammer. But
is he okay? Like, I know he's not. It's a rhetorical question. Don't answer that.
I think what makes me laugh the most is just how many times he pauses all in between those sentences to like make sure, like, yeah, did they get it? Yeah.
Well, he pauses like that because he's declining. Speaking of, actually, let me just show you. Let me just show you a lovely comparison of how we can see the decline of an old man being in charge of office.
So from the beginning to the end, it was clear that this week, America's...
And guys, while we're sitting here, can we please make sure we're tapping? You guys usually get to 100,000 likes by now. I know that there were some phone calls, and so you get wrapped up in chatting, and I appreciate that. I do. But let's make sure we are still tapping that screen, that we are still doing all of those wonderful things. I have 6647 left in my goal. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link tree in my bio. Guys, we have a little bit less than an hour left to go. I'd appreciate if we could start getting that down. Remember, this is my job. This is how I pay for my bills. So if we can start working on getting that down, I would appreciate it.
Back, it's bigger and better and stronger. We're more respected as a country right now, I think, than we ever have been. And we were a laughing stock 2 years ago. They would laugh at us.
Walker I said, make America great again. I said, make America great again. And I copyrighted the term. And then
no, he didn't.
Walker was making a speech many months ago when he first started. And he was saying, make America great again, because he saw the response I got.
We had a man that should have never been there, you know that. A man that would walk up to a podium once every year, and they'd ask him, what flavor ice cream do you like? I like vanilla.
The difference is he didn't get any response, so it didn't help. But we told him you can't do that. That was the first little problem I had with him.
Where'd all his energy go? What happened?
He said you can't do it. Now I said a common sense conservative, and today I heard he used the term because the press was up, and they interviewed me, and they said he's a common sense conservative. Well,
then he'd try and find the stairs, which he couldn't find most of the time, and he'd leave. This is very unfair reporting. And then you said you didn't know about that. You didn't know there was something wrong.
I coined the phrase a few months ago, but that's what I am. I'm a conservative person. I'm very, very conservative on the military. I'm very conservative with our vets and on health care and on lots of things.
You didn't know there was something wrong. We can never let that happen to our country again. To me,
yeah, we can't. We can never let you happen to our country ever again. Maybe we can get people to actually be smarter, but I doubt it. So you can see the decline. It's really bad. That's just from 10 years ago. So this one is my favorite. Now, this is why I said, if you have not watched on YouTube and TikTok, if you have not watched my newest video, please watch my newest video and like it. I would appreciate it because Papa Bear, who I don't see in the chat today, Papa Bear, you said yesterday that Donald Trump never said he knocked out 100% of their ballistic missile capability. And so the reason I titled my video the way I did is on purpose. Defend Trump in the morning, look like a clown by the afternoon. Because this was later that day.
And other people, other countries too. We're not the only one that never did anything. They were the bully of the Middle East. And now we're leaving Iran with no Navy, no Air Force, no anti-aircraft, no missile capability, no...
What? No missile capability, but he said at the G7 that they could have missiles to defend themselves. I thought they could have missiles to defend themselves, Papa Bear. What? Ooh, maybe don't defend Trump because he doesn't even know what he's saying half the time. Stop defending him. Because he will twist and pretzel and make you twist and pretzel and it makes you look bad. And I know you're smarter than that because you got to be smarter than him, so please stop doing it.
Nuclear program, we're leaving them without any nuclear capacity, and they've agreed to that, and we're getting along quite well.
They're also, where have they agreed to that? Where have they agreed to that? It's not signed anywhere.
Although if you read the fake news, you never know. Think of it. The fake news, they have no army, they have no navy, they have no air force, they have no anti-aircraft. We can fly over Tehran just at will. Nobody going to do anything to us.
Except for that drone that shot down that Apache helicopter. Oh, and then the other, I don't know if it was a drone. Oh, the drone that shot down the pilot, who we've never heard from, by the way.
Still haven't heard from him.
I saw a CNN article saying that they spoke in a briefing, like a debrief, and that those briefings were like released. Some of the but we still don't know their name. Like, why have we not paraded this person out with a medal? I'm very confused on that. Like, why have we not seen them?
And then I read the fake news that they're doing quite well. They're not doing quite well.
So again, stop defending him because he's going to turn around and make you look like a fool. Just asking you to do that. So then Rubio is coming out, or Rubio was asked if the U.S. can guarantee the navigation of the strait and guarantee that navigation without tolls being charged. Can I get huge W's to Chicky, please, for the $25? And she just had crabs. So she's giving me mega crabs.
Oh my God, I have crabs.
Thank you, Chicky.
Wild.
Let me do that math, and then we'll get to Rubio. 4147. My God.
Let me ask you about Hormuz, if possible. Can the U.S. and allies, can they guarantee navigation, freedom of navigation in the state?
Well, that's the law. It's an international waterway. No country is allowed to charge tolls or fees on an international waterway.
No, he's referencing the law, which is that they're not allowed to charge tolls and fees. Iran is saying, okay, for the 60 days we won't, but they're already kind of touting this idea that after the 60-day period that they're going to charge like maritime fees. So that's going to be an interesting thing to see happen. But I couldn't find it. I know I've read it, and I don't know why I can't find it now, but Donald Trump had truthed, like, flirting with the idea of America charging tolls in the strait, which according to Rubio is illegal. So I don't know if Rubio has talked to Trump about this. He probably should.
That's existing international law. That's the way it is in international waterways all over the world, and that's the way we expect it'll be here. So I don't think we have anybody to convince around here in that regard. I think all the countries in this region would agree with us.
Well, I think you should probably get it in writing, just as a contract thing. So then Trump had a truth after this about Iran and tolls. Iran has informed the U.S. that despite troublemaking fake news reporting to the contrary, there are no tolls, no insurance costs, and no other charges of any kind being sought or received by Iran on ships traveling the Strait of Hormuz. If this is false, if this is false information, negotiations would end immediately. Additionally, no money has been given to Iran. Sorry, my English. Why is there not another quotation here? He started.
I read that. No, it's him. It's all him.
There should be another quotation. I'm assuming after the caps is where there should be a quotation. So he's saying that Iran is saying. Is he saying Iran is saying this? Okay.
He's making the claim that Iran
is saying this. No tolls, no insurance cost, and no other charges of any kind being sought or received by Iran on ships traveling the Strait of Hormuz. Again, would love to see that from Iran themselves. Haven't seen that from them. If this is false information, negotiations would end immediately. So he's saying he would put hardship on the American people again. Additionally, no money has been given to Iran or released from their money to them by the U.S. yet. We will be releasing some of their money that is totally controlled by us to our farmers and ranchers for the purchase of corn, wheat, soybeans, and more. As I talked about yesterday, Iran's prime minister already came out and said, no, we will be in control of the unfrozen assets, not the United States. We will control that money. So he's already, again, they're in dispute on this point. Food is desperately needed in Iran, and we will be purchasing it for them exclusively from the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Again, until it's in writing, it doesn't mean anything. Yes, guys, listen to Lunati and let's finish popping my cherry, please. I would appreciate that very much. I put the cherry gift. So the DOD is still asking for $80 billion for this war, even though we're in the process of possibly being done. Douglas, I'm not a Democrat. I'm a registered independent, honey. I'm so sorry that you're mad about the things your president is saying. All I did was read his truth. Why are you mad at me? Iran has already disputed what he's saying. That does not look good for further negotiations. That's all I'm saying. I would like negotiations. I have said this to you all. If you want to sit here and, yay, Trump, and do that, that's fine. You can do that. Give him a win for a problem he caused that he's solving. What I'm saying is what I'm seeing from this MOU and what I am seeing from our interactions after the fact is that we are giving a hell of a lot to Iran without getting anything in return. And I am scared that the other shoe is going to drop and we're going to be right back over there and it's going to be hardship for the American people all over again. But here is Donald Trump in regards to the fact that the DOD is asking for $80 billion for this war. How'd you all complete the cherries except for one? How'd you do that? One more!
Billion more dollars for the Iran war. Do you think Americans support this at a time when so many are financially struggling?
Who are you with?
I'm with News Nation, sir.
Not a very good group. Not.
Oh, of course. Instead of answering why is the DOD, thank you so much, why is the DOD asking for $80 billion, instead of answering that, he goes after the fact that it's News Nation.
Doing very well. Not only do they support it, they demand it because they won't allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. You want to see trouble? Let them have a nuclear weapon. We're doing very well with Iran. They've been decimated, and we're making a deal with them, and we'll see how that all goes.
So the DOD is demanding the $80 billion. That's not what they asked you. They asked you what you think about the fact that they're demanding that $80 billion, but of course he can't answer that. So again, we talked about yesterday that Vance and Trump and Rubio are all coming out and saying that inspectors, it's as part of the deal, inspectors are going to be going into Iran to inspect the nuclear sites. That's not written anywhere. It's not in the MOU, and it's not written down anywhere in this new deal. So Iran is already disputing that. Iran came out, I showed you that yesterday, and said, no, we are not having inspectors coming in. So they asked Trump about that. That Iran said no.
Voter ID. So John is a leader, and hopefully he can get the votes.
Mr. President, on Iran, the Iranians are saying there's no scheduled visit for the IAEA inspectors. Is that part of your agreement?
They're wrong. They're wrong. They know they're wrong. They told us inside.
They're wrong. Their disagreement with you is wrong? What are you saying? They're lying in public and telling you something different? I'm confused.
And we have it down 100% inspection.
Where? Where is that written down? Where is that written down? I keep asking you guys. Oh, they said it? Well, I don't believe them. I don't believe Iran either, but I don't believe them. Not until I see something in writing.
If they were right, I'd cancel the meetings right now.
And Iran says there's no agreement to buy ag products.
From your view, Mr. President, when will those inspectors actually be on the ground?
At the appropriate time. At the appropriate time.
When will the inspectors be on the ground? At the appropriate time. That means there's nothing written down and nothing agreed to. He just capitulated in the matter of 5 seconds.
No rush, but they'll be on the ground at the appropriate time.
Sure they will. Iran said no. So apparently they won't be. Jeez. And then here's the thing. This is why I think partially why we're trying to do this 60-day deal. It's a very interesting timeline. Here's Brian Kilmeade with Representative, I'm assuming it's Mauser. It's M-E-U-S-E-R, Mauser, talking about the terrorist state of Iran. But Brian Kilmeade really just, he says it out loud. He says the reason why they're trying to placate you, MAGA conservatives. There's a reason they're trying to placate you. Why? Because it's festival season. It's election season.
Muser joins us now. Congressman, was the message well received yesterday, or is affordability something people of Pennsylvania still have to be convinced is going in the right direction?
Hey, Brian. Well, no, the message was very well received. People realize the president's telling them the truth, and they're feeling it in their pockets.
No, we're not. Where?
The real data that people feel, Brian, is that 2.3 million Pennsylvanians no longer have tax on Social Security.
That's not, no. No, that's not what that means.
Over $1,200 has gone into those who got overtime, $1,500 for no tax on tips.
Until 2028, when they get rid of it. And I guarantee the Republicans are going to probably, just mark my words. I would love to see it not be the case, but mark my words. In 2028, when it's time for those provisions to expire, I don't think that the Republicans are going to vote to extend them. We'll come back to this. Mark the date.
We've created actually over 100,000 jobs in Pennsylvania since the president's been in office, and wages are up. And yes, with the affordability question,
not compared to inflation,
is there, but they realize it's over Iran, and the president's winding that down. So the terrorist state of Iran is going to be in the history books in a matter of days.
Well, yeah, if not after the election, I'm sure they're going to get it. And Muser.
after the election, I'm sure they're going to get it. Is he saying that after the midterms, we're going to go back to bombing them because we don't have to care about the election anymore? Is that what we're saying?
That's what it sounds like to me.
That's what it sounds like to me, too.
Guys, you're at 97K likes. We can get that up. It is like almost 11:30 Monty time. Can we do better with them taps? You can do a dollar train. We can do all the wonderful things. Make sure you guys are staying engaged. Also, again, I don't know what it is. The shares are a little bit low. Again, if you guys hold down that screen, you can share it to everyone. Every single time I go into a live, I hold down the screen and I share it to everyone who is on that list. If you guys can do that, we can get those shares up real quick. Repost, add to story. I don't know if the reposts are turned off. I was able to repost it, and I can't.
I know
repost
sometimes it gives trouble once I start playing clips, but maybe.
But do the shares, do the taps, do the doll hair trains.
So let's get into some more of his speech from yesterday. But first, as part of showing his decline, I just wonder, I found this clip. And I think that Republicans and MAGA will find it interesting. Because you know what? You were right. You're right. It was really irritating to watch. And I found this clip of Joe Biden signing an EO. And he had to have it explained to him because he didn't even know what it was. So you guys were right. Biden was definitely deficient and should not have been in the job because why was he signing EOs that he couldn't pronounce and didn't know exactly what it was? You were right this whole time. Except it wasn't Biden, it was Trump.
So we're going to be investing in American quantum leadership like never before to stay ahead of the pack. We're way ahead right now. We'll keep it that way. The second order I'm signing directs federal agency to transition to what is called quantum cryptography. Do anybody know what that is? You're gonna
Cryptography? Here's a new one for the board, Eli.
called quantum cryptography. Do anybody know what that is? You're going to hear very soon, so you're going to find.
Does anyone know what that is? I don't know. Shouldn't you? You're signing it.
This also shows me Trump doesn't know what cartography is either, so check that off too.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Cartography. Does anyone know what that is?
Anybody know what that is?
You should know what that is. You're signing it. You guys fine with that? Cool. Okay.
You're going to hear very soon, so you're going to find it interesting. Cryptography for their computer.
Still, no, he said it again. Still not how you say it. You know, so yeah, I agree with you. I don't like having a president in office signing executive orders that can be used as part of executive legislation when they don't know what they are. I agree. I don't like that either. W's to oh me, oh my. Can I get huge W's to oh me, oh my? Huge. Gotta say it like Trump. Huge W's to oh me, oh my for the $25. He said, Devil Dog thinks C-SPAN is fake news depending on which rep is shown on the screen.
How does that work?
C-SPAN is not... C-SPAN just plays the congressional hearings. That's all they do, Devil Dog. They just... It does track. It does track.
I'm trying to how it
like if you're talking about their panels, maybe. But if we're talking about just when they show congressional hearings, it's like court TV. It's just a camera in the room.
Right.
Was that a pay to mute? Ari is asking. Oh me, oh my. If you want to still banter with him, we do not have to mute him. That's totally fine. But if you would like him muted, you can also do that. Thank you. W's to oh me, oh my. Guys, that brings us down to $16.47. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link tree in my bio. You can contribute to that dollar train, $2 train. We can get that knocked out with 30 minutes left. Just let me do it if it is. You got it. Oh no, he's great. You love interacting with him. Good for you. I had fun with him the other night in Audie's. I do have fun with him. But if you do mute him anyway, his other account, East, is going to show up. So there's that. Because that always happens. All right. Back to Donald Trump in Pennsylvania. What I will say is not this one, but there will be clips that I apologize to TikTok. I will have to mute you guys for. I'm convinced it has to be him, Audie, because every time I mute Devil Dog, East shows up. They don't talk at the same time. East, I thought you said Weast. But there will be clips on TikTok that I apologize that I'm going to have to mute because he starts talking about festivals, and we know, as we know, very well, TikTok doesn't like it. But this one is fine. We can talk about this one. So he does a clap poll, much like we did at the Renaissance Fair to determine whose costume wins. But for this one, he did about the national right to carry. And I'm very confused because I just came from Olives, which W Olive for making it even. We're down to an even 16. Olive said enough of that. I can't deal with it anymore. We just came from Olive's classroom talking about constitutional amendments. Okay, we got an education on a few. This would be one of them that we talked about, so I'm very confused why he's doing a poll on it.
You and your people, but I think you've done a fantastic job. The NRA, everybody, they really have been. They've been with me right from the beginning. And Bill asked me, would I support the national right to carry legislation? How do you feel about national right to carry?
I'm confused. I mean, besides obviously the 10th Amendment and states' rights, because that's what we went over today, Olive, I was listening. I was paying attention in class. Is the national right to carry not the Second Amendment?
Yeah, and I want to know, was someone standing there? Like, I don't know. I'll have to show you. Hang on, let me turn my camera around so you guys can see my face real quick. I don't know if this is maybe just something I was used to seeing, but when we used to do like the applause meter, someone would be standing off to the side and they'd be like, which way are we going? So I want to know how we determined if that was popular or not. But yes, that is within the Second Amendment. We've talked about that.
Because he's going to talk about it as if it's something he's going to put into legislation, and I'm very confused because it already is. Again, didn't think we'd get the Second Amendment in the divorce, but here we are.
About national right to carry. That's my free poll. You know what that is? That's a free poll. I don't have to pay $300,000 to somebody that doesn't even do polling, to give you phony numbers. See, those are real numbers. National right to carry. Yeah, we're working on it. And we have a very special guest who you just saw on the highest rated fight show.
And then he goes off about the fight, which, by the way, he also said, I don't have that clip, but he said that everyone in the world watched it, when there is a separate clip talking about the fact that they said you can only watch it if you subscribe to Paramount. And he said, that's just the way it is. So I'm confused.
Also, why did he go up in octave for like a quick second?
The highest rated. Why are you yelling at me?
He started talking in all caps.
He did. He does that a lot. He does. Okay, so then, how do I want to do this? He starts talking about, so I'll play these two, because then I can mute TikTok. He starts talking about festivals and how they're rigged against him. So here is the first one, which, by the way, the audience doesn't really know what to do with this. But I apologize, TikTok, you get muted for that. But I will have it in my outline, so that you can listen to it later if you haven't already listened to it.
For decades of work.
Yeah, we could call it contests.
Workers of this Commonwealth watched globalist politicians let other countries rip you off and close your factories, rob your jobs, take them away to foreign lands. And then I came along. We stopped it very quickly. Then we had a rigged election. But they were so stupid, they kept everything going a little bit for...
Okay, now I'm going to unmute it because he's done saying that. I know there's no sound, Kayla. I can't play it. But I can play it now. I can play the rest of this because I just want you to pay attention to what he says, that the Democrats did bad.
For us, and what we've done in the last year and a half, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They put America first, they put China first, they put illegal aliens first, and everybody else first, but you.
I'm sorry, what was that? What was that first one?
Going a little bit for us, and what we've done in the last year and a half, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They put America first. They put.
Isn't that what we were supposed to do? Isn't that what we were supposed to do?
Put China first. They put
Not
illegal
that.
aliens first, and everybody else first, but you.
Put everybody else first but you, including America.
So confused.
He's he's deteriorating in real time in our faces. I only laugh because I have to laugh. I have to laugh.
That's the only thing we can do. Yeah, only thing we can do.
So here is the second one where he's talking about Spencer Pratt again and the contest in California. So again, I apologize. I have to mute you, TikTok. But the rest of the clips, we should be fine. Maybe not. Hello.
It tracks, though, because if the whole world saw the fight, but I'm in the whole world and I'm American and I didn't see the fight, then America first means not you first.
You just sounded like a MAGA supporter. I just want you to know that the pretzeling you just did to explain that sounded like them trying to I can smell the smoke that just came from the gears.
I'm in Weld County right now, so it makes sense.
Oh, okay. So it's just, you need to get out of there now.
Bye.
All right. So he's going to talk about Spencer Pratt.
Hey, did they screw the kid, Pratt? Boy, he's leading, and all of a sudden he's lost. And it was sort of interesting. The election, you ever see an election where they're 2.5 weeks in? An election that takes weeks to count the votes?
Yeah, all of them in California. We saw that in the midterms in 2022. We saw it in 2018. And actually, oh, sorry, it was my husband, so it's fine.
Yeah.
You can rewatch and listen to him sound like MAGA, I guess. But Blue, you already know that he does that sometimes.
But after the evening, it looked like he was.
Blue. Oh, we didn't miss anything.
Was going to win or certainly be in the runoff. And then I started hearing rumors as the days went by, days and days went by, that Pratt is fading. He's fading. I said,
it wasn't days. It was literally he was always in second place. So I don't know where he's getting that he was leading. If you looked when they started counting, okay, it was Bass, Pratt, and then Rahman. Bass, Pratt, Rahman. That's how it was the entire time. And then Rahman, because there's only a 15% conservative population in LA, Rahman overtook Pratt. That's it. That's all that happened. He was never leading. So again, he lied to you. I don't know where you're getting that from. I know you can't hear the clip on TikTok. I'm sorry, Ashby.
they rigged the election.
But they didn't. All right. I can unmute you guys now. We should be done with that talk for now. I have an entire section titled elections that I can't even get to because it's like TikTok is such a bitch.
What you could do though is that could be a way for everyone over here to run over to YouTube and and do all the wonderful things there.
True.
So
Just
maybe
make
halfway through your live, end it here and then move over to Tube.
W's to Patrick. Thank you so much, Patrick, for the $6 on the PalPay. Oh my god, my stomach. Could you hear that?
I couldn't hear it.
Okay, good. It was very loud. It was very, very loud. Thank you for the $6. You said, love your boisterous live. Keep up the energy. Thank you. At least you called it boisterous. Somebody yesterday said I'm yelling, and I said it's actually impossible for me to do that because my mic doesn't allow yelling. It doesn't. It cuts out when I yell. You want me to prove it? It cuts out when I yell. There's like a noise filter on it or something. I don't know what my brother put on it. But some guy said I was yelling yesterday. But W's, that brings us down to $10, guys.
I'm gonna go look up the microphone that helps me stop yelling. Got it.
I think it's like a filter that he has on it.
Looking
that
for
didn't
filter.
cut out. It cuts out all the other times.
It does.
Literally, there was a clip Eli was trying to get. We actually heard all of it. Whatever.
I don't consider that
things that I say. Why don't you just let me believe the things that I say?
I mean, I don't consider that yelling personally.
It was yelling. So, what was this? Yeah. So Trump was engaging in misogyny and transphobia, which is also misogyny. But he did so by doing weird shit again. We're going to have more noises for the board, Eli, because, like, what the fuck? Noise gate and suppression. Yeah, it's probably part of the mixer, like the Wave XLR mixer. He probably has it in there. I don't know. He's told me he can turn it off. I said, I don't care. Leave it. It's fine. But yeah, so he's trying to engage in transphobia and misogyny, and it turns into just weird sounds. So I apologize.
And she gets over the weights, and she stands there, and then she gets him, and she gets him. And the mother's screaming, darling, I love you, darling. And the father's looking, saying she has no chance. And she's like this, you see it? Drops him. And she's like devastated for the rest of her life. And then a guy comes along who transitioned. That's the term.
What the fuck is that?
Scared me.
You looked so concerned. I would be concerned too. Why did it come from like the corner?
Damn you, Sparky. Why would you do that?
That was scary.
It's so funny because YouTube and Twitch can't see the GIFs. So they're just like, all of a sudden my face just gets scared. Oh God, I'm gonna have to clip that and put that in the Discord because that was funny. All right. Again, we're watching because I was hoping it would go on Trump's shoulders. I don't like that. More Donald Trump deteriorating. That's what we're watching. This sucks. It sucks to be laughing at this because this is the president. This is the president of the United States. He's literally right now in a 60-day negotiation with a sovereign nation trying to come up with a deal so that we stop bombing the shit out of them. But this is the guy in charge. So here he goes talking about Graham Plattner. And I just want to, I didn't know that my tattoos were stickers. Didn't know.
And they're all up. How about the guy in Maine? He's got the Nazi stickers.
Hold on, let me try and take it off. It doesn't come off. It doesn't, damn, wait.
I never really tried. I don't want to, my permanent adult stickers cost way too much money to even attempt.
My dad won't come off. Damn it. So sticky. Stickers.
Yeah.
He doesn't know the name for tattoos?
He's got the whole deal, and they're trying to say and they're all.
Does he not know who's his head of the DefSecchi? Does he not know who that is? And the stickers he has on him, I guess?
The DefSecchi. So Donald Trump's going to talk about a visit he took to China. Now, that visit was in May. It was in May. Can you guys guess what timeline he gives for when he visited? Anybody? Give you one guess about when he says.
He thought we were finished. When I went to China 2 weeks ago, I met with President Xi, and we greeted each other, and he looked at me and said,
When was that?
China 2 weeks ago, I met with.
Huh?
Yeah,
Every 2 weeks?
You guys did hit 100,000 likes. I will give you that. 117,000 likes, but I've definitely seen you guys do better. Maybe you guys needed a break from all of your fingering yesterday.
President Xi, and we greeted each other, and he looked at me and said, man, do you move fast. Because they thought they had us, but now it's really the opposite. We are doing numbers that nobody's ever seen before, so it's great.
Yeah, bad numbers. We haven't seen for 4 years from like a pandemic. That's where we are. And then he made this claim, he's touting this one again, that he made during his State of the Union address. So we're going to listen to him make his claim and forget about it, forget what timeline he made it with, and then we're going to fact check that claim.
The typical 401k, as you know, is up almost $30,000 in, it was 12 months, it was 13 months. It's up 44%.
What?
Think of that. Up 44%.
Okay. I want you to hear him say it again before we fact check.
Typical 401k, as you know, is up almost $30,000 in, it was 12 months, it was 13 months. It's up 44%. Think of that. Up 44%.
Okay. Well, let's fact check that. And unfortunately for him, we have a fact check already from the last time that he did this in the State of the Union when he talked about it. Okay? So let's do that. Trump says 401ks are way up, but workers are tapping them at record rates. In his State of the Union address, President Donald Trump said your 401ks are way up, and they are, but hardship withdrawals are also up, new data shows. Since I took office, the typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. He just repeated that, correct? Trump said in the annual speech before Congress last month, which he just repeated, the average 401k balance rose by $14,700 to $146,400 over the course of 2025, ending the year up 11% from a year earlier, according to new data released Wednesday from Fidelity. Is that what he said? That's not what he said. He said 44%. That's not 44. Why did he lie to you? Well, I know why he lies to you, but why do you let him lie to you? The average individual retirement account balance also gained $9,561 to $137,095 in 2025. Fidelity found a 7% increase year over year. That's that. Let's go to 401k hardship withdrawals rise. That's where the problem is. Again, this happens when you guys come up and you say, I liked no tax on tips and I like no tax on overtime. Okay, fine. That's great. One, he's not the first politician to campaign on that. It just happened that he signed it under his term. Awesome. Cool. We like that. I am a tipped, by the way, $10 left of my goal. I am a tipped creator. This is my job. Is what I do for a living. So these would be tips. Would work out beneficial for me, right? However, that is negated by the bad things. So 401ks are rising. However, people are tapping into them more. So still, savers also tap their accounts to free up cash, which experts say indicates underlying financial strain. The share of workers with an outstanding loan in 2025 was 19.4%, up slightly from 18.9% in 2024, according to Fidelity. About 9% of workers took out new loans from their 401k last year, including for hardship reasons. That's down from 9.5% in 2024. The share of workers taking a hardship withdrawal, which is broken out separately, rose to 2.7% last year from 2.5% in 2024. Vanguard's report also showed an uptick in hardship withdrawals. Roughly 6% of workers took a hardship withdrawal in 2025, a record high. So, biased source, check both. What are you talking about? CNBC? CNBC? They just talked about the fact that although, where is it? Where's the one we just looked at? 9% of workers took out a new loan from their 401k, and that's down from 9.5 in 2024. That would be good for Trump, right? But for hardship, it went up. What are you talking about? So where's the biased source? I'm just reading you a source. They're not being nice to Biden, and they're not being nice to Trump. They're just talking about the facts of the situation. Most financial experts advise against rating a 401k since you'll be forfeiting the power of compound interest. So-called leakage from 401k plans, especially cash outs, can jeopardize long-term retirement security. We would love to see these numbers trend down, Shamrell said. The good news is we are continuing to see people stay focused, stay on track this year, he said, even amid recent market volatility stemming from the U.S.-Iran war, which now supposedly we're trying to get out of, but we'll see. But again, just a fact check. And then last clip with Trump here. He gets asked on the tarmac with his little umbrella, which he hands off to somebody. I don't know why everybody's making a big deal out of that. I just want to say. I don't think it's weird that he didn't close the umbrella himself. I think a lot of people who are in positions of power would probably hand it off so that it's still covering him when he gets in the car. I don't know. We just like to give Trump a hard time, but I wouldn't see that being any different from anybody else. W's to Juicy Juice. W's to Juicy Juice for the $2 train. The Choo-Choo Twain. Choo-Choo. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Guys, leaves us with $8 left in our goal with a little bit more than 10 minutes to go. Let's see if we can get that accomplished. But Donald Trump has asked specifically about the fact that the trucking industry is in trouble and in jeopardy with the incoming of self-driving vehicles, self-driving trucks because of AI. And what does he have to say about that?
Under investigation.
President, you're about to speak to truckers. Truckers are at high risk of losing their jobs to AI because of
jobs.
Well, now they're not. You can't get a job. Right now, we have the highest job numbers
You can't get a job. But I don't think he meant to say it like that, but it did.
we've ever had in the country, in the history of the country.
That's not true. We've not had the highest number of jobs we've ever had in the history of the country. We saw that actually under Biden. And yes, that is excluding bring back jobs or whatever the fuck they're called.
And I'm just with a couple of the great senators and congressmen. We're talking, it's actually hard to fill the job. You know, nobody's ever seen a time like this.
Yes, he did. They well, it's been multiple pieces of legislation, but I think in EO specifically that he banned AI regulations for 10 years so that states could not do it for 10 years. They can't, like, states are not allowed to regulate AI, which they're pushing back against and fighting back against. But yeah, you can't get a job, but we also have the highest job. You can
The highest job.
Hold on, let me go back.
High risk of losing their jobs to AI because of
Well, now
self-driving
they're not.
vehicles.
You can't get a job. Right now, we have the highest job numbers we've ever had in the country, in the history of the country. And I'm just with a couple of the great senators and congressmen. We're talking, it's actually hard to fill the job. You know, nobody's ever seen a time like this. We have right now so many.
He almost said it's actually hard to fill. Yeah, probably. It's actually hard to fill the jobs. Isn't that bad for the economy if we don't have enough people to fill the jobs? Which, by the way, we've been saying. That's why we said that we're pro-immigration and pro-pathways to citizenship and pro-worker visas, is because of the fact that we don't have enough people to fill all these jobs. So thanks, Donald Trump. I'm glad you're on the same page.
Jobs that are going to be available. And the biggest problem we have is getting the people.
Oh, okay. So you should be for immigration and pathways to citizenship then.
So we're really doing spectacular in this area in Pennsylvania for steel. Eli Lilly just announced billions of dollars worth of plants.
Did they?
We have more plants being built right now in the United States than at any time in the history of our country.
Source. Objection. Source. He keeps saying things, but he doesn't prove them. Oh, it's so tiring. Okay. Yes, we'll go into this economy section and that'll probably be it for us today. I have so much. Can I here, I'll just show you guys. Let's look at my outline here. The red is what we've covered, okay? I always just cut and paste what we have not covered into the new outline, and then I just add to it. So this is what we've covered. There's a little blanche section here. I don't think it's warranted enough or big enough for us to get into yet, but it's there, except for this whole, the DOJ questions requirements of government for care for people with disabilities. That's fun. We'll get into that another day. So we're going to do this economy section. But look, it's 10 pages of it. Judicial, fraud, waste, abuse, women's internalized misogyny, contests, health, congressional soap opera, racism, Chris Wright, Carrie Lake, Pulte, education, OMB nom, Inspector General nom, and Archivist nom, which we haven't gotten to, immigration, Republican simps, local election stuff, and I have funnies or just feel goods. I just can't get through it. It's just never ending. Feel pity for me. Okay. So let's go to how you guys are pretzeling and glazing about the economy, because holy crap. This is an interesting way to phrase things. We're talking about inflation. Inflation is at 4.2%. That's not good, right? We don't like that. Why are you like this? Now I have to do that math. Hold on. I don't. If I was nice to myself, I wouldn't have to. So W's to Anonymous for the 134. The 134 brings us to Hail Satan. 666. We love that. Thank you so much. But that is negated because of Peter, who likes to give me crabs, also likes to be my pay pig. He said, I'll be your hashtag pay pigs. Thank you so much, guys. W's to you, completing out that goal today. I appreciate it. You guys are wonderful. Had to yell at you a little bit about the taps, but I'm giving you a grace period because of what the taps looked like yesterday. But you still hit over 100,000, which is my goal in general anyway after the 2 hours is 100,000. So you guys beat beyond that. But here we are. We're going to talk about inflation. Inflation is 4.2%. Inflation is the rate at which goods increase. So they're increasing at a rate of 4.2%. That's bad. But even if it lowers, it's still increasing at that rate. Still not good. But I want you to listen to the Republicans try to pretzel to defend the inflation. And what they're going to do is not defend the inflation. They are going to ignore it.
Kevin Warsh, he speaks a little bit differently. It's not too Fed.
Kane Rock, tell me how, with what policy did Biden get inflation to 9%? And what was it when Joe Biden left?
Ease,
right?
But you can read through what he's saying there about what's coming next.
You can, and I think the market read the fact that they think that the Fed's going to be raising interest rates, at least once this year and maybe once in the first quarter next year.
So again, I talked about this earlier. Economists are already coming out and saying that most likely the Fed, regardless of the fact that it is now Kevin Warsh, who Trump wanted, are probably going to have a couple, if not 3, rate hikes for the interest rates. Interest rates are going to be raised to try and help the economy because of inflation right now. Inflation is so high, they want to stop buying. They want you to stop buying. To do that, to slow that, they increased interest rates, okay? Right now, they have kept them stagnant. That was the first press conference from Kevin Warsh was him keeping the interest rates stagnant. But most likely, they're going to be increased.
But
Kane Rock did the thing. Kane Rock did the thing. He said, I asked him, what did Biden do that increased the inflation to 9%? And he said, Key lime pipeline. God, I need to get that sample so that I can start wearing it. Key lime pipeline. Yeah, totally. Him just releasing the contracts on a pipeline that was already killed by the courts totally increased the inflation a year later. Yeah, that's totally what happened. Anyway, back to this guy.
Like you said, he didn't really come out and say that. The market's leaning that way. And the biggest wild card in this inflation thing right now is oil. And there's a debate. Should you, when you have an oil crisis, perhaps the wrong thing to do is to raise interest rates because you can slow the economy and make things worse for people who are struggling, right? But if we're past that point, then you could potentially raise rates to lower overall inflation. But even though inflation's been coming in hot, Brett, I'm seeing signs when you exclude food and energies, it could be leveling out.
What was that? You're seeing signs when you exclude what?
I'm seeing signs when you exclude food and energies, it could be leveling out.
Oh, so if you exclude the biggest factors like food costs that is increasing for the American people, even though Donald Trump said he would get those down day one, and energy costs, which is up because of a war he started with Iran that was not necessary. Granted, it has now come down since this conversation, but a war that was unnecessary. If we just exclude food and energy that people need, not just gasoline, but what heats your homes and cools your homes, if we just exclude those 2 metrics, it's leveling out. The economy looks great. Just ignore food and energy. What? Food and energy are kind of important, I would think. But that's just me. W's to that Crow guy for the 1999 super chat. W's to you. Thank you. You said, Monty, thanks for the awesome stream. Sorry, I can't give you crabs, but you can with the emoji and the super chat. You can.
Oh my God, I have crabs.
I'm just like riddled with crabs today. You guys are just all over the place with the crabs. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Monty appreciates it.
We saw inflation expectations fall from the University of Michigan. We've seen the core rate start to cool off a bit. So we may have seen peak inflation. And if we get this oil deal, we could be talking about disinflation hopefully next year.
By the way, that's bad. There is a rate of inflation you do want, but...
You sound kind of bullish.
I am kind of bullish. I'm bullish on America. I mean, this is the perfect world. Get rid of the terror threat. If Iran joins the world community, starts doing business.
This is the perfect world. If you just exclude food and energy costs, it looks great. We love that. The delusion you guys live under. I can't. Hello, husband.
Has your chat not found the divine fingers gift? Because nobody's fingered you.
Oh my God. Yeah, that gift does exist, though.
Okay, bye.
That happened.
We could be in an economic boom, and you got to credit the U.S. energy industry. They rose to the occasion. Record exports, record production. They stepped up when needed.
Did they? So there's that. So this was Hassett, and this was a couple days ago. So it is to that point. I can even show you. I have no problem showing you guys. Let's look at it together because I have no problem. Oh, I didn't take the super chat down. I just realized it's just still sitting there. Come back. Oh no. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's do this together. Crude oil per barrel. Crude oil per barrel. Oh, it went up since I looked at it earlier. We are at 70. So Hassett is going to talk about the fact that it is trending towards 70. So it already is. But again, just talking about the fact that they hope it'll be resolved. I hope it'll be resolved too. I just don't have a lot of faith that we're going to get a signed deal that is not a watered down JCPOA, which I guess would be fine, but it seems like we're giving in to a hell of a whole lot. And Iran's not giving in to anything.
Where do you think oil?
Cane Rock, what do you mean? You said no point in speaking facts. You don't want facts, so what's the point? Hold on. We'll do this again. Cane Rock. The Keystone pipeline is currently running. The Keystone XL, which is the one that you are talking about, was actually shut down in 2018 by a Montana district judge because it was running through indigenous lands and not complying with ecological regulations. So it went to the Supreme Court, who declined to take it up and let the judgment stand. In 2020, you can look this up, you can find articles on it. In 2020, they allowed the lower court's ruling in Montana to stand that the Keystone XL pipeline will not be allowed to go forward anymore. So it was done. The company itself scrapped the project because the courts told them they could no longer continue with it. All that Joe Biden did in 2021 when he came into office was release the permits on an already dead project. You can look this up. Please Google U.S. Montana Keystone XL 2018. Please Google SCOTUS Keystone XL 2020, and then Google what Joe Biden did with the permits. That would not have any effect on the fucking inflation. Why? Because on top of that, Keystone XL was a shortcut pipeline that was not completed in any way, shape, or form, and is a Canadian pipeline for tar sands oil, which is used for rubbers and plastics, not used for gasoline. And again, it was Canadian and not ours, so it would not have an effect on the gas costs or the inflation. I wish you guys would fucking read. You want to talk about facts? I just gave them to you. Okay. Kevin Hassett, everybody.
Were you surprised to see it come down this quickly? I heard that everything's shut in and it takes time.
Cane Rock, what was I wrong about? What was I wrong about?
So Keystone XL pipeline, all right? I want to let everyone know that it was so Canada could get their oil to international markets, not to be sold within the United States of America. Is that what Kevin Hassett said? Because I haven't seen this clip.
No, I was talking to a YouTube chatter. He said the YouTube chatter said the 9% inflation under Biden was because of the Keystone shutdown.
You're dum-dums. Like, TC Energy gave up on the project in 2018. FML.
Yep. After the courts. And then and SCOTUS just affirmed it. That's all that happened. No, Hassett's just talking about the gas prices lowering into the 70s, which they are.
Time to restart, and the Straits either is open or at least it's not at 100%. What's your feeling?
Right. I think the futures markets have actually, if we go back and look, you could ask, Leisman's the best chart guy in the business, so you could maybe get him to show you a chart. But if you look at what the futures markets were saying all along from the beginning of this episode, that they pretty much got it right. And so right now, futures markets are saying that, we're headed down into the 70s sometime soon. People are reluctant to buy at the spot price because they think the futures price is going to be so low. And I can say that J.D. Vance has been, on the ball in Switzerland, negotiating with the Iranians. He reports.
He stayed for one day.
Great progress.
On the ball, y'all.
Reports that the UN is going to inspect their nuclear facilities, and
Iran is denying this.
We're getting some of the really, really big tankers out of the Straits now, so that the amount of oil coming through the Straits as of the beginning of the weekend was almost as much as we saw pre-war. So I think that right now there's still work to do. There's still work to do, but J.D. Vance has made a huge amount of progress. The fact that they're open to UN inspectors suggests that, while the Israeli conflict with Hezbollah is something that's going to still have to be discussed, the oil market impact.
Well, except for the fact that that's point 1 in the MOU, which is that they have to stop hostilities. So
To this thing, I believe is mostly resolved.
So if
and he's been waiting for this moment to hope that it's resolved. We have to. Again, I have said this. I don't want it to continue. I don't trust our negotiating skills under this administration, but I don't want it to continue. That's for sure. Where did Cane Rock go, I wonder?
They ran away, but just don't forget to remind everybody about tonight before you get off. But I'm gonna drop down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then this is what I was talking about to Cap earlier, guys, in case you missed it. What is this? What is this? Are you telling jokes? Kayla, thank you for the dollar. The dollar train. I'm still going to say choo-choo. Thank you so much. You said, what's the difference between a dirty bus stop and a sexy crab? One is a crusty bus station and the other is a bust crustacean. A dirty bus stop and a sexy crab. One is a crusty bus station. The other is a busty crustacean. I know. I corrected it. It didn't say busty. I just want you to know. One is a crusty bus station. The other is a busty crustacean.
Oh my God, I have crabs.
So again, this is what we were talking about. Not your comment, busty. This is Donald Trump's truth. That apparently he's on our side now. He's now on our side, and we do like to see that. The big oil companies are not dropping their price at the pump commensurate with the sharply lower prices they are paying for oil. Those prices are dropping like a rock. In other words, customers are being gouged. I have instructed the DOJ to immediately start looking into this. Gasoline prices better start going down a lot faster than what I'm seeing, President DJT. Oh! So you agree corporations do gouge the American people, and you should probably put forth legislation to ensure that they can't do that? Wow. If only there was a bill. I should have looked this up before. When did they do this? They might have done it multiple times. Congressional Democrats have proposed and supported multiple bills to combat oil and gas price gouging, most notably the Consumer Fuel Price Gouging Prevention Act. Oh no, it's gonna suck for him. Here we go. Yes, I'm a human, Congress. Jeez. All right. This was proposed by Kim Schreier, a Democrat from Washington. This was in 2022. This was proposed. Consumer Fuel Price Gouging Prevention Act. Passed the House. There have been 4 roll call votes. Let's see actions. That's my favorite. On passage, the yays and the nays. 217 to 207. I wonder who did that. Oh, Republicans voted against it. He didn't write that one. He doesn't know what commensurate means yet. I don't think he could pronounce commensurate, to be fair. But, you know, price gouging that Republicans voted against in 2022. Oof. That's tough. That's tough, isn't it? I'll bring that over here. Leave that over there. Glad we could get to that. All right, last thing and we'll get out of here. This is Scott Bessent. He went on CNBC today and he said that Iran is getting a break from sanctions. We're giving them a waiver for oil sanctions to help make the dollar stronger. So apparently it hurt the dollar to do what we did. Shocker to nobody.
We're seeing in the Iranian negotiations, the Iranians will be invoicing in dollars. So everything we are doing is pushing the dollar back. It's never left as the centerpiece for the global currency system, but we're reinforcing it. You know, I would anticipate when the Russia-Ukraine conflict ends, that Russia will want to come back in the dollar system.
Well, the thing is though we've already given, we've already issued waivers for Russian oil. We did that already. So what are we talking about? He talks like he's never said words before. That's true. We were allowing Russia to make money to continue to fight with Ukraine.
Because again, you know, the dollar, it's our liquidity, it's our capital markets, it's the depth and breadth.
Duh. So why has Donald Trump come out on video? I've played it saying he could let the dollar crash and he wouldn't care. Because he would want to move to cryptocurrency. Why has he come out and said that then, Bessent?
Everyone wants to be here.
I know, Brandon. I saw it. I had my YouTube and my Twitch rated RTP yesterday, and he called me Moni. To be fair, he did say I don't know if I'm saying that right, and I was not in the chat to correct him, but I also don't care. It is Moni, which is short for Monica, but I don't care. I've had people call me Moni. It does not bother me in the least. I really don't care. There's a song, Moni, 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 Moni. Like, I don't care.
And I think many times the great thing about the United States is we course correct when we're seeing.
So, yeah, he thinks that it'll help. I thought it was Monty. It is. It's all the things. Okay, so that is it for me today. I do have one funny to show you, though. I have to search it, but I do have one funny. I didn't spell it right. I love when I do that. Just, you know, because this is totally how a wife acts around her husband.
That's right. Today's special reader is my husband, Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance. Thanks for joining us today, honey.
Of course. Good to see you.
That's the same level of like leave room for Jesus while you're dancing in like middle school.
But did you see how he touched her? Is that how you touch your pregnant
J.D.
wife?
Vance. Thanks for joining us today, honey.
Of course. Good to see you.
She's pregnant with your child, my man. Like, what are we doing here?
Wait. But I gotta ask, like, did you see? So he's been doing a lot of interviews, right?
Yes, because of his book.
Did you see his interview where he was like, I would have 9 kids, but you know, it takes 2 to tango.
I didn't see that one. I saw her shit on his religion. That interview was funny.
Oh yeah, that was great too. But no, like yesterday it was just like he said it in that one interview. I can't remember the name of the person that he sat down with, but he was just like, "Yeah, this is our 4th child. But see, I would have 9 kids if I could, but you know, it takes 2 to tango. Like, your wife's not sleeping with you
at all." That's what Compact said. He's not the father. Somebody, Bruh said Usha is the beard. You know, Peter Thiel did pay for him because remember, his name was not on any list. It was not on the short list. It was not on the long list for VP picks until Peter Thiel came out. Just something to think about.
You're okay. I drop back down. Love you both.
Love you.
Bye, Ari.
Mia. Hi.
What did I tell y'all?
What?
What did I tell y'all?
What?
I told y'all that baby was to save her life, because when did that baby come up? When? Exactly. I told y'all that was a life-saving baby. That was like, she was like, you know what? I gotta secure my spot.
You're right. It's true.
And that's why he just patting her on her knee.
So
Because
awkward.
so much more chemistry was between Erica and JD.
Let's see.
Like, Erica was running them fingers through that hair.
Like, that's not your wife. That is your wife. Your pregnant wife. That's not your wife. What are we doing here? That's just not hair. Oh, I'm in there. Like, God.
And he had his hands around her waist and everything, but tapping his wife?
So weird. It's so weird. The contrast is startling. It truly is. It really, really is.
I don't know. It's kind of not surprising, but I told y'all. Y'all don't want to listen to black women, but whatever.
That's why I listen to you all the time. Because I love you. Now you leave. Wow. Okay. You're right. I'll sit the fuck down. I don't need a cookie. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'll make it up to you later. Do you want another booby pic? Anyway. All right. So it doesn't look like there's a lot of people to raid that aren't men. And I don't like doing that. Yes! They got upset about Michelle and Barack playfully fist bumping. Yes, they did. They got upset about a lot of things. Which I never got to, and I meant to get to, which is just Olive did show some yesterday, which was great. It was that joy is resistance. It absolutely is. And we love that. But I do have stuff that I can play maybe another day when we get to it, maybe on a Friday when we need to feel good before the weekend. We'll play some of the speeches from the opening of Obama's presidential library because they were really great. Brought a tear to my eye. Just remembered what we had in politics. Not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But what we had versus what we could have. So, or what we have now, I guess. So on that note, YouTube and Twitch, you should probably go to RTP. I'm not going to send you today because I sent you to him yesterday and it was a man and men. So I'm not going to do that. But YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, pay attention. I will be live again. You will see me again tonight. I am going to be doing call-ins with Ari. So if you're not following Mermaid Ari, okay? Mermaid Ari on TikTok, Mermaid Ari 0 on Twitch and YouTube. Make sure you go over there and that you are following her because I will be back at, if it's the same time as it usually is, Ari, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, is when we will be back to do some phone calls together. So make sure you are following Ari, okay? If you're not, I don't know why you're not already. She's my boss. You should be following her already. But Mermaid Ari 0, YouTube, Twitch, Mermaid Ari on TikTok. Make sure you're following because I will be there tonight. So show up. I might come on my backup account. And play games after lunch, maybe. I'm kind of in a gaming mood. Play for like a couple hours, maybe an hour and a half or so before then I can take a little break and go live with Ari. I think that sounds like a good plan. So actually, real quick, let me do this. If you're not following my backup account, follow my backup account because that's where I've been streaming my gaming on TikTok. So you can do that. I can't stream. It's like weird. If I stream it on TikTok, I can't stream it on Twitch. It's a whole thing. But that's where I've been doing that. So if you're not following that account, follow that account. But I will be back tonight, and then I will be back tomorrow. Now, remember, tomorrow, Thursday, my daughter has an appointment tomorrow. So I have a hard cutoff at 11:30. So that means I'm only going to be live for an hour and a half. So I know it's going to be harder to hit like goals. I know it's going to be harder to hit gift goals and to hit my goal. But please, can we try and work on that tomorrow? Because you're going to miss half an hour of me. So tomorrow I have a hard cutoff at 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time, but please come back and support, and then you'll have me back for Friday. But I appreciate you guys. We're not rating anybody, but just go disperse, do your thing, take care of yourself, spend time with friends and family. I love you all so, so very much. I might see you gaming. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tonight. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. So make sure you guys are coming back for that. But I love you all so very much.